Hey, David here. In this video, I'm going to talk about Josh's case study, and I want to share some stuff with you that helped him go from around 3.4k a month to 7.6k a month in only 26 hours of delivery a week. He's an in-person trainer based up in the north of England in Manchester in a gym. And so if you're a trainer and you're in a gym or a studio and your income's a bit stuck, you're struggling for lead flow, and you want to have some tactics and strategies on how to grow and more than double your income over the next maybe 6 to 9 months, I think this video is going to have some stuff that might be of interest to you. And so I'm going to break it down, make it as practical for you as I can, and hopefully it's useful. 30 seconds on me. This is me on the right here, and this is Craig, my best friend and business partner. We met at university in 2004, qualified as trainers in 2007, nearly 20 years ago. And we had a long career in personal training, did all sorts of stuff. And then in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, begin to transition into helping other trainers grow and do cool things. So that's who we are. We run a mentorship program called Velocity. It's for in-person trainers. And we currently have around 200 people in there at the moment. That screenshot was taken yesterday. And that's a bit about us. Anyway, let's get into Josh's transformation. So we met him back in May 2024. He was making just under 3.4k a month. So doing pretty well. He'd got himself up to 24 hours a week, and he was doing a one-hit class with 20 people in it, kind of a high rocks vibe. His PT was costing $150 a month. So again, not too bad. I think pretty standard for North England. It's pretty good. And he was charging about £7 a class, pay as you go vibes. So a little bit of extra money coming in from that. Fast forward 9 months, and he is now at just under 7.6k. Now his hours have barely changed, just 1 extra hour of delivery a week. One-to-ones have gone down, but the price has gone up, so happy days. And his classes have gone up, but they're all fully booked. So there's lots of people in his world, and actually the cost per class, the average cost per class has gone up. Again, he's created an immense amount of demand, an incredible community, is delivering a great service. So more people are coming, and they're paying a bit more for it, which meant that's resulted in the increase in income. And so what we're going to do in this video is talk about what's happened to get him from A to B. Cool. So a little bit about Josh. When he first joined us, one of the main problems was getting potential clients through the door to meet him, whether that be through social media or whether that would be through some local marketing. He needed a more systematic way of bringing people in, and obviously he was looking for classes one-to-one, but there was also this okay, how do I scale the business so I can actually impact more people? At Velocity, we believe that your income today and my income today is a reflection of how many people I've helped over the past, say, 12 to 24 months and how much I've helped them. So we want to position ourselves and our business in such a way that allows us to help the maximum number of people we're capable of with our skill set, our knowledge and our systems, and help them in as big a way as possible. So this is Josh on Instagram. You can kind of check him out. He's a great dude. I love working with this guy. And that's where he's based, as I mentioned earlier, northwest of England, between Liverpool and Manchester. So that hopefully places him. Now these are the 6 big things. What I've done with Josh over the last, since we've been working with him, is I kind of interrogated him and said, look, what have been the big needle movers for you? What have helped cause this, you more than doubling your income without actually adding significantly any hours to your working load? And we've come up with 6 things. So we're going to start off by talking about the business model. That's what we call the tiered model. We'll talk about how he packages the stuff he does. And that really is talking about how you communicate it to leads and prospects and have them sign up fluent and smoothly. How do we think about pricing? How do we think about content, promotions, and then onboarding clients so that taking lots of people on in any given period of time is easy and smooth. So that's what we're gonna touch on. So the first thing is the business model. And the business model, another way to describe that is the way that we make money and out of helping people. So that's what we want to do as trainers. We want to help people in the best way we can. We want to maximize the number of people we can help and the way in which we help them. And what we notice is that a personal trainer's journey usually ends up accruing lots of different services that are kind of disconnected. So an example is that we start off doing some one-to-one, and that's great, and we pick up a few clients. And then we end up with some two-to-ones, or maybe even some small groups, because we meet a husband and he wants his wife to train with him. And then a couple of best friends want to train. And then you meet someone down at the local club, and they want you to train a small group of them to do some Pilates or some strength training. And then you think, I'll do a bit of online, because one of my clients moved back to America and they still wanted me to train them, so I sort of do a bit of online stuff. And then I might do some classes, or I might, sell some supplements or do some nutritional work. And all of it can feel a bit convoluted. Like I'm doing all these things that help people, but they're not really connected to each other. So I feel a bit like, what's that phrase? I'm quite good at a lot of things, but it just like I'm not well known in my area. I'm not known as that guy or that girl that does that thing, and that's what we really want to change. So at Velocity, what we do is we create something called a tiered model, where we say, look, we've got one business. Fundamentally, it's us. We are the personal brand that behind that business. We help people. Where's my screen gone? I'll come back in a second. We help people. We help a certain group of people, or maybe a series of groups of people. We're not total huge believers in like one single avatar, by the way. You can have multiple, so that's a conversation for another day. Let's see if my screen's back. And but we want to organize it in such a way that allows different levels of service that you offer. And the different levels represent different amounts of access to you, levels of customization to their journey, and therefore cost of what they have to pay to get inside your world. And so if we do this in a way where people can move between the services as their journey unfolds easily and fluidly, it means that it's much easier for us to build and manage, because I just do one thing with different levels inside of it. Imagine like a building that has a lift that moves people up and down the floors. It's like I have one building, that's one business, with multiple levels, that's the floors of the building, and people can choose to jump in an elevator, touch a button, and they can just move up, they can upgrade, they can downgrade as it suits their journey and what they're trying to achieve at any given time. And I think that's one of the powerful things about the model, because what we want to create is something for clients, right? We want people to be able to tailor their journey based on what they need at any given time. So anyway, that's the big idea. So what did Josh do? Well, we've got this model where ideally at the very top of the model we have something that's more expensive, okay, and at the bottom we have something that's less expensive, low ticket if you like. And for Josh, this is going to be one-to-one training. When he started, he was at $150 a month for 4 sessions a month, and now he's at $200. He's just about moving to $250 because the demand on his one-to-one is growing, and his capacity, we're gradually limiting it down. He still wants to do it because he loves it, and it's a really powerful part of the model, but we want to make it more and more premium over time. So that's what we're doing with one-to-one. What we have beneath that, the next kind of thing down in the tier are the classes, the HIT classes that Josh runs. He's building an amazing community out of this, and that's the next thing down. And then what he's now doing, what he's been doing for a little while actually, are events. And Josh's thing is around HIT. It's very High Rocks inspired. And so what Josh does is he runs High Rocks Sims every, say, quarter, and he just sells tickets to that. People can buy tickets and train towards it. So tickets are around about the £30 mark, probably moving up towards the £50 mark. The HIT classes, as I mentioned earlier, they're around the £10 mark at the moment that people can attend, and there's monthly ways that they can pay for that. And this is going to be moving up to the $250 a month range. So back to the point I made earlier, the mobility in this model is really important, and this is why it's working well for Josh. His growth is becoming much more frictionless, because people can attend an event and then do a class and then respond to one of his offers, which I'll share with you in a minute, to do some one-on-one with him. Maybe it goes the other way, and actually people come in for some one-to-one, but then they get introduced to classes after a while, and then maybe they attend an event. But either way, as the client's journey unfolds, they're able to easily move through these different levels, and we call this the model mobility. Right? If people are mobile through the model, then they can move up and down, and they stay for longer. And Josh doesn't have to work so hard to bring people in, because once they're in, largely they don't really go anywhere. And that's why when he started with us, he was around about 25 clients, and now he's in the region of around about 80 when you add up his one-to-one clients, the classes, and the people that come to his events. And so 80 people, that's a big pool to fish in. And when we talk about upselling people, like when you need and want to, it becomes much easier. So that's the model. And this is exactly how we do it. Like we at Velocity, we practice what we preach. And this is how our model is structured. So we have like a kind of an entry level program where we help people earn $2,000, which often is a platform for later growth. They move up to the next level, which is about getting fully booked on their terms. So that often gets them to about £5,000 to £7,000 a month. Cheetah Squad is about breaking the 5-figure month barrier, scaling the business, opening your own facility, building a team, building out the tiered model that we're talking about now. And then business consultancy is for people that want to go and build something. They want to go to 20, 30, 40 grand a month. So that's how we do it. Again, the access to me and Craig, my business partner, go up the higher, like you get more of us, the higher you climb, which would be the same for you. They have greater customization. So we work more closely with people that are higher up the level because often their situation is more complex, and they pay more, right? They pay more for all of that good stuff. That's how we think about the business model. So now we understand how we're organizing the things that we do. Let's talk about actually how we package them up. And I want to talk about one-to-one specifically, but this idea will relate to classes, small group training, events, everything that you do. We want to think about core and periphery. So as a personal trainer, everything you do, the main thing that people get attracted to is the one-on-one in-person element. That's the special sauce of what we do. But as trainers, we also understand that there's a lot of other things which facilitate the result over a given period of time. And so the problem is, right, a lot of trainers sell only, I say only, the most of the thing that they talk about is the session itself. So they price the session as £40, £50, £60 an hour, $60, $80, $100 for the session. And they talk about the session itself, which is obviously it's important. It is the core of our service. But there is so much value to the client in context of achieving their goal of all the other stuff that you do. For example, let's change that up. For example, programming, right? You probably do some form of programming, whether it's exercise, nutrition, even lifestyle, habit formation stuff. Like you want to give people what to do when they're not with you so that you have a much more holistic approach to their work. You probably have some kind of messaging service, whether that's one-on-one through WhatsApp or another tool. Maybe it's via the community, right? You might message people and stay in touch with them there. You might do check-ins, right? This might be a more formal thing or a more informal process, but you do that, and that adds a form of accountability, feedback, redirection, guidance, again, when they're not with you. And then you might do community events, client workshops where you pull people together, you bring experts in to share their knowledge with your client base so that you can upgrade their knowledge and their wisdom and their thinking and their habits, all that wonderful stuff. And the thing is that we have all this wonderful stuff here, but unless we package it and communicate it in a way where it's as part of the offer rather than on the outside, like we say here, if we put it on the inside and say, look, you're gonna, when you join my team, my program, whatever you call it, you actually get access to a lot of stuff that will be immensely helpful to you at different points on your journey. So the orange kind of circle, which is the core, that's the fundamental piece. Of course you're going to have sessions. Of course you're going to have one-on-ones or small groups or whatever. But actually what you're also getting and you're also paying for when you come in is you get access to all these other things, which help you in the following ways. And so if we are able to position like this, our offer, whichever tier we might be talking about, right? Come back to Josh's example here. You will be able to present more value. Value is just seen as how will you help me get the thing I want over a period of time, and how can you do it with me? How can you do it easily, enjoyably, with the least friction, and with the best experience? If we can present that, you're going to have a lot easier job of signing people up. You're going to be able to sell yourself at a much higher value because there's more stuff that influences them in a positive way. And so that's what we like to do when we package our products for clients. And the other interesting thing that we did with Josh is fundamentally when Josh came and when most trainers come to us, they say, look, I want to earn more money, but I have these skills, I have this experience, and I've got these results. How do I earn more money for that stuff? We have to understand something called the effective hourly rate, because coming back to this idea, these things here, they all take time, right? outside of the sessions that you're delivering in the gym or the studio, they all take your time. And so there is a misnomer here where if we say, look, I charge £40 an hour for a session, which is kind of where 35, 40 was roughly where Josh was at, he's not actually earning that, right? Because what you have to do is you have to say, well, how much time am I working in the business with the client, and how much time am I working on the business as the owner or the coach, right? And administrating the business. And so we have to add both of those things together, the 25 hours Josh was working, plus the 15 hours that he was spending outside of those sessions servicing his clients. He's actually working for 40 hours, not the 25 that he's getting paid for. And so actually, even though we might think that we charge £40, it's going to be much closer to £25, £30 for most trainers, in some cases even lower. And so this idea is we take a little bit of maths, and we just take the amount of money you earn in a month, we divide that by the amount of time you're spending with clients, plus the time that you're spending working with them when you're not with them, on them when you're not with them, programming, check-ins, all that stuff. We add that all together and we get a much clearer reflection of what your average hourly rate is. And when we met Josh, he thought he was charging 40 quid an hour, but he was actually in the £25. And we said, look, we need to get that up in the £50 to £60 region. So everything that we package going forwards, when we put it together and we say, this is what I'm going to do for the client, for the customer, for the whoever it is that I'm serving at whatever level it is, in this case, we need to do so with a target effective hourly rate of around £50 to £60. And that means you can simply do some maths. If I work 40 hours total, but I'm actually earning £50 for every single one of those hours, not just the ones when I'm with them, you can do the maths and start to see how quickly you can grow your income, because this would relate to 2k a week, and obviously that would translate to around about 8.5k a month. That's where we would end up. So that's how we think about packaging, pricing, putting it all together in a really smart business model. Now I'm going to take a very short break because my dog is whining at me, and I'm going to be back in 2 seconds to talk about the weekly client machine. Okay, we're back. So one of the things we had to do, and we're continuing to work on with Josh, is how does he generate leads? And this comes into the world of marketing. So what we do at Velocity is we think about marketing in two ways. We want a trickle and a pour. So we use the tap, like imagine a tap off the back of your house as an analogy. You turn the faucet just a little bit and you have like a little drip of water that can fill a bucket steadily over time. It's very slow, very predictable, very easy to manage. And then you turn the faucet all the way out and the water comes gushing out, right? You can fill a bucket really, really fast, but it might spill over the edges a bit. That's the analogy we have for marketing. So we want a trickle and we want a pour. The trickle is like a steady flow of leads, inquiries and conversations you're having every day, every week, through actions that you take that are managed, that are scheduled, that are organized and structured, right? And then we have the pour, which refers to promotions, things that we do on a periodic basis, maybe every 2 to 3 months, based on your appetite for growth. And they are much more of a direct, like, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to come and get involved? And that is where we turn the faucet all the way. We have a big gush of water and then we turn it off once we're kind of happy with what we've got. We want both. We want both in efforts to build and get fully booked and grow beyond that in a personal training business. So the trickle is what we call the weekly client machine. And what we need is a simple structure that we can follow each week that works to attract the right kind of person into your business and into Josh's business. And so this is something that Josh has started to work on. He's still doing it. And what we do is we break down the year into weeks, and we use the week as a container for a particular theme. So what we do, Josh then, to pick the theme, you kind of look at your clients that you've got already and you say, well, which are the avatars that I've got inside of my client base that I want more of? And I break them down into not demographically, like there's a woman or a man or they're this busy professional, which is kind of helpful. It's a start, but we really want to understand the problem. Okay, the problem that they are facing, particularly the problem they faced when they first joined us. And once we've understood that problem, it's going to connect to this theme, and we then create up to 6 or 7 pieces of content, all emanating around that problem, around that theme. Okay, so not going to spend loads of time on this because we did a full training on it, but to give you an example of some of the things that we would do, the first thing we would do is talk about the problem. Okay, so the problem is I don't know what to do when I go to the gym, or the problem might be I'm too scared to go to the gym in the first place. Another one might be, I don't know what to eat, how to eat to facilitate my training program. You get the idea. So we start by talking about the problem. The problem there is there to resonate with the audience. They need to read that or watch that video and say, yeah, that's me, I get it. That's the problem I've got. What now? Well, that leads on to Tuesday's post where we talk about the process that you follow in order to get the result and to overcome the problem and get the result that you want. Then we move into proof. You then say, cool, well, that's what we do. Here's an example of me having done it with a client or myself. And then we want a personal post. Now, personal is really important. A lot of trainers are not selling themselves enough on social media or even in their gym. And there are actually 3 sales you need to make to get a client. One is you need to sell them on you as the person, because they're going to need to spend a lot of time with you. Number 2 is you need to sell them on your ideas, and that's like how you get results and how you think and what you believe. And the third one is your program of like, okay, how does it work? I need to sell you on that and what I'm buying into. So if you don't have the personal element to your content or your marketing in period, you're going to fail at the first hurdle. Social media is also there to be social, so we want a day to play, and this is where you want to share something, talk about something that makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you sad, makes you angry. Maybe too much on the angry side, but you get my idea. You want to share your opinions, you want to have fun on social media, you want to show up and be real. Saturday is where we raise hands, and this isn't what I'm not saying here. Most of the time is you're kind of calling out for clients, but you want to start conversations, and you want to start a conversation around the problem or the theme that you've been talking about in the week. And Sunday we leave as a little flexi day. So anyway, back to Josh. Like, what we're trying to do now is create much more intention around his marketing by being thinking about the problems that he solves and being more articulate about them, turning that into a theme, and then articulating that into weekly content plans. That is the weekly client machine. It's wicked. But we also want the pull. We want that be able to turn the faucet all the way and be able to create a gushing of leads. And so what Josh has done a really good job of is running a competition. And here's how we think about it at Velocity. We want to give away something really big, a huge, great big prize that would be incredible to win, so that we can attract a lot of people. And we're actually going to end up selling or inviting people, all the non-winners of the competition, to come and trial out what we do. That's the idea. So we want to give away something big. Think about the lottery, right? The lottery. They say I'm going to give away £1 million, and so 1 million people buy the ticket, so only one can win, which means there's 999,999 that didn't win but wanted it in the first place. They wanted to win. They had a desire to win the money, right? So what Josh did, if you take a look at the example here, he actually closed up this competition. He edited the caption and kind of closed it. But the prize here, you can see, is worth 500 quid. And he laid out 3 months worth of coaching at his facility, including a bunch of goodies that related or would be desirable to the type of person that he would want to attract in, right? And that's a way that you can help signal to the right person to enter with the goodies. And what you then do, so one person wins, but every other person that didn't win, he would then follow up and say, look, hey, do you want to come and try a class for free? I'd happily come you down, come and get involved in the community and see if you like it. Appreciate, loads of people entered, not everyone could win, but I want to do a little something for those that didn't. Right? That's basically the idea. Josh did a great job of this. As you can see, the numbers on this one post of the 7-day campaign that he ran got a lot of attention, so it brought a lot of people into his world. Finally, let's talk about rapid onboarding. One of the key things that we had to do with Josh is that if we were going to grow, like from 25 to say 80 clients, what we're saying is we need to onboard 55 clients, right? In one way, that's what we mean. That's what we're saying. And yes, we need to fix the marketing. We need to do some sales stuff. But let's say that once we get a lot of the right people coming into our world and inquiring, and they're saying, yes, I'm keen to be involved, we need that onboarding process to not only be professional and impressive, i.e. it needs to reaffirm to the person they're in the right place and get them moving, right? It needs to kind of get them started on the journey that they've signed up for. But we need to do it in a way that doesn't drown Josh and it doesn't drown you. Because a lot of trainers, they have quite a manual, labor-intensive onboarding process. So if they do have a good week of inquiries, sign-ups from whatever, we don't want them or you to have to feel like you have to drop all the stuff that you were doing, like content creation, It might be like designing some stuff for your clients, planning an event, and oftentimes it's the marketing that goes. But we don't have to drop that stuff because I've got to onboard these 7 people. Because what happens is I dive deep into onboarding and serving those 7 people in the first few days and weeks of their journey because I want them to have a good job, and I get it. I absolutely get that. But it then means that I just haven't had my eye on the ball in terms of marketing. So now I'm completely at ground zero again, and I have to kind of rebuild the momentum on content creation, or I have to get visible in my gym or my area again. We need to build a structure. We need to build systems into our business so that marketing and being visible and being present it never stops. We're always out there. We're always we're staying top of mind, front of mind for our ideal prospects, so that when the time is right, because we don't decide when the time is right for people to sign up, they do. And so we just need to stay at front of mind so that when the time is right, they lean in and we are the first person they think of. And so what we did with rapid onboarding, and again, you can see it in the workbook, is we just give, and this is really simple, we just give people an email template that they plug their stuff into. This gets saved in a template on board. There's a Boards app, which is a kind of a keyboard extension, or it can be saved in a draft on an email, whatever works for you. But basically, every time you onboard a client, this can be either automatically populated if you've got some automation set up, or you can just load up the template, insert the name, and make a few little tweaks, boom, send. You can onboard 10 clients just by sending this email out, which take no more than 10 minutes. And so we want that to be, we want that to feel easy and light rather than heavy and clunky. And the final thing, those were the 6 big things. But the final little bonus I wanted to give you is, if we come back up to this, let me give you the context. What we said with Josh is we positioned all of his stuff into a tiered model, which is the building with the lift thing. And it becomes much easier to sell people into events because it's a one-time purchase, it's low commitment, and he can sell that very easily. But the cool thing is being able to upgrade people into classes and then up into one-to-ones from a lower tier, because trust is already established. They're already on the inside. They've seen what's going on firsthand. And so making that upgrade is relatively easy. So what we did is we put this, we gave the script to Josh, which he basically sent to all of the people that bought a ticket to his next event, which was a High Rock Sim. And we said, cool, well, this basically said, like, thank you for buying a ticket, like for buying into a thing. I just wanted to reach out and let you know about an offer I've got going on that would be relevant to you. I'm looking for a certain number of people from the group to participate in an offer. And this offer, the High Rock Sim Accelerator, this is a name that we gave to a 2-month one-on-one program that would have a start and an end, and it's geared up to serve the event that he's got coming. And the principle behind it is it's going to accelerate your progress. You're going to work one-on-one with me to progress so fast over the next 2 months that you're going to smash that event, right? It's totally tied in with the motivation that individual has that led them to buy the ticket in the first place. So it's a natural upgrade. Now it's saying what it is. It's in 8 weeks. I'm going to give you the tools. We'll work on specific stuff to you that relates to the event, so that you can overcome the problem that you probably have, which is the demands placed on you. We're basically like identifying the problem that you want solved, and we're going to help you solve it faster, easier, with more support and less stress. So that's kind of what we're offering. And further benefits here will allow, so more specific to your weaknesses, we're going to double down, make you stronger overall, and also the benefits from this session will carry over into other work you do with me. So multiple layered benefits. And then how does that sound? And we're looking to start a conversation around that. And so what Josh is doing, because he has a lot of people he did this, by the way, for both to keep himself fully booked. He did it from the event, like both arrows that you see on here. So he did it to get people, sorry, bear with me a second. He got one-to-one clients by doing that offer from classes into one-to-one and from events into one-to-one. So we actually did the upsell from 2 different levels. The one I showed you was events into one-to-one, a High Rock Sim into an accelerator, but he also did the classes into one-to-one and got clients there as well. And so he can just do this like once every month or 2, or he can do once every time he runs an event. He can do a little class offer once every other month as well, and that will just keep his one-to-one topped up. because the idea here is that if we can keep the demand and the attention growing on the one-to-one service, he can over time make it more and more premium. And so that's the idea. So that was it. That was Josh's case study. I hope that's been valuable to you. As you might have noticed down below, there's a button below here. If you want to learn a little bit more about what we do at Velocity and how we help trainers grow their business, and you want to learn a bit more about that, then check out the document below. It lists out who we are, what we do, and how we can help. If it sounds good, there's a little call to action at the bottom. Drop us a message, drop us an email, and we'd love to have a chat. That's me. I hope it's been good, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.